The Johnstone Supply Company Cafferty Group, with offices in Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, and Colorado, presents Fujitsu Airstage VR2 Heat Recovery System Installation and Piping. This includes the VR2 Heat Recovery Quick Installation Guide, Outdoor Unit and Pipe Installation. The workflow checklist includes indoor unit installation, refrigerant pipe work, drain piping work, duct work, insulation work, remote controller installation, outdoor unit foundation work, outdoor unit installation, refrigerant pipe connections for the outdoor unit, leak pressure test, vacuum evacuation and drying, refrigerant additional charge, electric wiring work, pre-commissioning and startup, commissioning, handover, and customer guidance. Here's a list of do's. Read the entire installation manual before you start working. Properly insulate all pipes to prevent sweating or condensating that can cause water damage to floors and walls. Install the outdoor units on a raised platform that is higher than the average snow level. Apply refrigerant compressor oil or equivalent to the surfaces of the flares before connecting them. Tighten flare nuts with a torque wrench for a leak-free connection. Over-tightening is a big contributor to leaks. Pressure test using nitrogen. Perform a triple evacuation during the vacuum stage. Observe local and national codes. Before beginning normal operation, apply power to the outdoor units to operate the crankcase heater for a minimum of 12 hours. Here's a list of don'ts. Do not cut corners. Do not use tools for other refrigerants such as R22, etc. Do not supply power to the outdoor units until all wiring and piping work are complete and checked for leaks. Do not keep pipes open or exposed to dust or debris during installation. Do not install outdoor units directly on the ground. Do not install units in areas with high salt contents, such as seaside. Do not install units in areas containing equipment that generates electromagnetic interference. It will cause the control system to malfunction. Do not use for special purposes such as storing food, growing plants, or preserving precision devices or art objects. Do not touch the fins with your bare hands. Do not stop the operation of air conditioning with the power breaker. First, turn off the units with the remote controller. Do not touch electrical parts immediately after powering off. Wait at least 10 minutes for capacitors to drain. Do not close walls or ceiling until all piping work has been pressure tested and found to be leak-free. So let's take a look at a checklist. 7296 and 120,000 TLBV outdoor condensing units. Separation tube assemblies and or headers. Refrigerant branch units or RB units. Correct sized line sets. All line sets are insulated independently, not together. 50 to 150% capacity indoor units. Nitrogen and regulator to purge lines. Vacuum pump and micron gauge. R410A manifold. Tools for installation. Things to note. This quick installation guide is not intended to replace the actual installation manual. For complete instructions, refer to the installation manual that is included with each piece of equipment. Don't take shortcuts and don't follow any rules of thumb. Always follow local, state, and federal codes during installation. Do not connect power to the equipment until you are ready to start and test it. Adhere to all safety and installation warnings on the installation manual for this equipment. Unit placement. Wall height conditions. When H1 is 59 inches or less, then the necessary installation space, L1, would be more than 20 inches. When height H1 is 59 inches or more, then L1 is greater than 20 inches plus H1 divided by 2. When H2 is 19 inches or less, then L2 should be equal or greater than 4 inches. When H2 is 19 inches or more, L2 is greater than 4 inches plus H1 divided by 2. Outdoor unit placement. Always leave adequate space between the units for servicing. For additional placement information, refer to the Outdoor Unit Installation Guide. Make sure you have enough room to clean the coil when it gets dirty and service access to the front of the unit. Multi-outdoor unit placement. When the wall height H3 is 59 inches or less, L3 should be greater than 20 inches. When H3 is 59 inches or more, L3 should be greater than 20 inches plus H3 divided by 2. When H4 is 19 inches or less, L4 should be greater than 8 inches. When H4 is 19 inches or more, L4 should be greater than 8 inches plus H4 divided by 2. When H5 is 19 inches or less, L5 should be 8 inches. When H5 is 19 inches or more, L5 should be 8 inches plus H5 divided by 2. When B is greater than 16 inches, L6 should be greater than 8 inches. When 1 inch less than B is less than 16 inches, then L6 should be greater than 8 inches plus 16 inches minus B times 3. Again, refer to your installation manual for exact unit placement. Weights and rigging. For the TLBV units, the 72 and the 96 weigh 578 pounds. The 120 weighs 631 pounds. Design of the outdoor units allows for lifting straps to be used. Take the necessary precautions to protect the equipment and the rigging. Outdoor unit transporting. The units can be transported in a small elevator and through normal-sized doorways. The condenser measurements for the 72 and the 96 are 66 and 9/16 high, 36 and 5/8 wide, 30 and 1/8 deep. For the 120 size, it is 66 and 9/16 high, 48 and 13/16 wide, and 30 and 1/8 inch deep. When transporting the outdoor unit by forklift, there are forklift holes in the front and the sides of the unit. When positioning the condenser on the job site, install the unit level, anchor the unit at the locations highlighted by the arrows. In areas where it may snow, make sure to elevate the unit above the snow line. Do not use a four-corner support foundation. Outdoor unit combinations. The Fujitsu outdoor units are available in 6, 8, and 10-ton capacity. They can also be combined in 1, 2, or 3 unit combinations, giving them 6 to 24 tons total capacity. The units are grouped together with the use of separation tubes. Connecting to the outdoor unit. Piping and wiring are available through the front, the left, or the bottom of the outdoor unit. Cut the end or nipple of the pipe before unsweating. The system comes pressurized with dry nitrogen. Verify that the liquid and the gas side of the valves are both closed. Cut the end of the liquid and gas pipe inside the pinch pipe. Wrap the valves with a wet rag or heat-absorbing paste before unsweating. Failure to protect it from the heat will damage the valve seals. After the nitrogen is vented, remove and unsweat the pinch pipe. Refrigerant pipe sizes. The correct pipe sizing for each of these applications will be found in the installation manual. We will look at some tables to give you an example of how you will find those pipe sizes. For instance, this pipe size will be found in Table A. This size in Table B. These pipe sizes we would get in Table C. This in Table D. This size in Table E, and these pipe sizes in Table F. So we will use the charts on 10B, 10C, and 10D in this presentation to determine the correct pipe size for each section. In Table A, you will find the line size chart for the lines between the outdoor unit and the outdoor unit branch kit for the 72, 96, and 120,000 BTU units. This includes the liquid pipe size, discharge gas pipe size, and the suction pipe size, and the branch kit model number. Table B will show the sizes between the outdoor unit branch kits, or between the outdoor unit branch kit and the first separation tube for 72,000 through 288,000 BTU systems, liquid pipe, discharge pipe, and suction gas pipe. Table C shows the line size between the separation tubes or separation tube and the RB unit for 15,000 through 325,000 BTU, liquid pipe, discharge pipe, suction pipe, and the model number for the 3-pipe separation tubes. Table D shows the line size between the separation tube and the RB unit. Indoor unit capacity 7,500 through 60,000 BTUs, liquid pipe, discharge pipe, and suction pipe sizes. Refer to the installation manual for a complete list of installation options. Fujitsu Design Simulator software offers the easiest way to size piping. Ask your Johnstone Supply Company Half-Ready Group rep for more information. Table E shows the pipe sizes between the separation tubes or between the RB unit and the separation tubes for an indoor unit total capacity of 15,000 to 325,000 BTUs, liquid and gas pipe. Also the model number for the 2-pipe separation tubes. Table F shows the pipe size between the separation tube and the indoor unit or between the RB unit and the indoor unit for indoor unit total capacity of 7,500 to 60,000 BTU liquid and gas pipe size. For a single condenser, total pipe length is also limited by the total refrigerant amount should be less than 77.16 pounds. When the outdoor unit is installed below the evaporators, 131 feet. In cooling operation, at ambient temperatures below 23 degrees Fahrenheit, the outdoor unit must be placed higher than or on the same level as the indoor units. For a complete list of pipe limitations, refer to the installation manual. The allowable pipe length between the master unit and the furthest indoor unit is 541 feet. Between the first separation tube and the furthest indoor unit, 196 feet. Total pipe length, 2,296 feet. Allowable height difference between the outdoor unit and indoor unit when the indoor unit is installed below the outdoor unit, 164 feet. Between the outdoor unit and the indoor unit when the outdoor unit is installed below the indoor unit, 131 feet. Between indoor units, 49 feet. Between RB units and indoor units, 16 feet. Between RB units, 49 feet. For dual condenser units, between the master outdoor unit and the furthest indoor unit, 541 feet. Between the first separation tube and the furthest indoor unit, 196 feet. Total pipe length, 3,280 feet. Between the outdoor unit and the outdoor unit branch kit, 9 feet. Refrigerant pipe length for triple condensers. Allowable height difference between the outdoor unit and the indoor unit when the indoor unit is installed below the outdoor unit, 164 feet. Between the outdoor unit and indoor unit when the outdoor unit is installed below the indoor unit, 131 feet. Between indoor units, 49 feet. Between outdoor units, 1 foot. Between RB units and indoor units, 16 feet. Between RB units, 49 feet. Allowable pipe length between the master outdoor unit and the furthest indoor unit, 541 feet. Between the first separation tube and the furthest indoor unit, 196 feet. Total pipe length, 3,280 feet. Between the outdoor unit and the outdoor unit branch kit, 9 feet. Between the farthest outdoor unit and the first indoor unit branch kit, 39 feet. Single RB unit install. The weight of the RB unit is between 15 and 18 pounds depending on which model you're using. Make sure it's mounted to safely support the weight of the unit. For ceiling installation, be sure to install the RB unit with the top facing up. Installing the unit upside down could cause damage due to internal condensation. It's very important that you allow enough space for service access once the system is installed. Multi-port RB unit install. The 4-port RB unit weighs 69 pounds. Be sure that it's mounted in a way to support the weight of the unit. When installing the unit, be sure to leave 1 inch or more of space above and below the unit. Also, make sure to leave a minimum of 20 inches for the entering and exiting piping. Leave space for service access on all sides of the unit for future maintenance. RB box mounting. Attach the hanger to the hanger bolts, level the RB box, and tighten all the nuts. You will want to secure the box with the nut top and bottom of the hanger to ensure that the unit does not move up or down. Then, attach a jam nut on the bottom against the bottom nut to keep it from loosening over time. RB box piping. Cut the tips of the pinch pipe, then unsweat the ends of the ports that you plan to use. The unit comes pressurized with nitrogen, so be sure to cut that pinch pipe and release the pressure before unsweating the coupling. Single RB unit piping. The connection pipe selection for when only one indoor unit is connected. You can see that the liquid line goes directly to the indoor unit. The discharge gas pipe and the suction gas pipe connect to the RB unit, and then a single gas pipe connects from the RB unit to the indoor unit. Consult the RB unit installation manual for liquid pipe, discharge pipe, and suction pipe sizing required for the different model numbers of RB units and different capacity of indoor units. Here is a diagram for the connection pipe selection when 2 or more indoor units are connected to one RB unit. Refer to the chart below or the installation manual for the model number of the RB unit you are installing, the capacity of indoor units, and the pipe size required. Depending on the model of the RB box, the indoor units, and the outdoor units you're using, reducers may be required. Refer to the installation manual for sizes. RB Installation Manual, Section 6.1. Here's an example of a multi-unit RB box piping. In the highlighted box, you'll see the piping sizes required on the outdoor unit side of the RB unit, depending on the capacity of the indoor units. In this highlighted box, you'll see the pipe sizing requirements for the indoor unit side of the RB box, depending on the indoor unit capacity. Here's an example of the piping size when connected to a multi-port RB box when you have multiple indoor units connected to the same port. Depending on the model number of the RB box, the indoor units, and the outdoor units, reducers may have to be used. Refer to the installation manual for sizes. RB Installation Manual, Section 6.1. When piping the RB unit, you must purge nitrogen while you're brazing at a rate of around 2.9 psi to avoid oxidation forming inside the pipe. Wrap the RB ports with a wet rag or use a thermal trap, paste, or gel before sweating the connections. Failure to protect from heat could damage the solenoid valve. RB unit insulation. After the system has been leak checked, insulate the RB box connections. Use cable ties to keep the insulation in place. Do not over-tighten, it will damage the insulation. Also, insulate the unused ports. Outdoor units branch kit installation. Pipe the system as shown in the highlighted diagram. Below, see examples of good and bad condenser pipe installation. Refer to the install manual for a complete list of installation options. Header installation. When connecting indoor units to the header, always start on the port furthest from the master outdoor unit. Leave a minimum distance of 19 and 11/16 inches between separation tube or header. Do not connect a separation tube after the header. Pipe storage. The end of all pipes must be sealed during storage. Use the pinch method when keeping pipes outside for long periods of time, for instance, a week or more. You can use the taping method when keeping pipes stored indoors for short periods of time, less than a week. Always keep pipes clean and dry. Brazing pipe connections. Always braze pipes using a low-pressure dry nitrogen purge of 3 psi or so. Here are two examples of a brazed joint with a nitrogen purge and a brazed joint without the nitrogen purge. A few caution points. When brazing, the air inside the pipes must be replaced with dry nitrogen in order to prevent oxidation scale. Do not use flux to braze the pipe. Flux is acid that could enter the refrigerant system. It becomes a cause of corrosion. For brazing material, use phosphor copper that does not require flux. Separation tubes installation. When installing the separation tubes, they should be mounted in a horizontal line and not vertical, and the horizontal line should be 10 degrees or less from level. The distance between separation tubes should be a minimum of 2 feet. The distance between a separation tube and a header should also be a minimum of 2 feet. The distance between a 90-degree elbow and a separation tube should be a minimum of 2 feet. The distance between a 90-degree elbow and a header should also be a minimum of 2 feet. Pipe size and torque. Flare nut tightening torque for 1/4 inch tube, 16 to 18 pound-feet of torque. 3/8 should be 32 to 42 pound-feet of torque. 1/2 inch, 49 to 61 pound-feet of torque. 5/8 63 to 75 pound-feet of torque. Always tighten your fittings with a torque wrench and a backup wrench. Pipe flaring. Cut the refrigeration pipe with a sharp tubing cutter. Deburr and clean out the shavings. Flare the pipe with a quality flaring tool. Set depth properly for a good flange. Make sure the nut pulls easily over the flange, not scraping threads. If it's too big, it will leak. Apply a small amount of refrigerant oil to the male bevel. Hand tighten the nut, keeping the line straight. Tighten the correct torque specifications using a torque wrench. Refer to the actual install manual for complete installation instructions. Purging through the RBU. If power has not been applied to the system, the solenoid valves and the electronic expansion valves are in the following positions. Indoor EEVs are open. Solenoid valves in the RBU are closed. In order to purge through the RBU, you will need to apply power to the outdoor unit, the indoor units, and the RBUs. Once the power is on, you can use the outdoor function commands to open the solenoid valves in the RBUs. The function setting is F321. Press and hold Enter. Press the Mode Exit button. F1 will flash on the display. Press Select twice. The display will change to F3. Press Enter. 1 will be blinking on the display. Press Select twice. 2 will now be flashing on the display. Press Enter. You should now see POFF on the display. You will need to leave power on to keep the solenoid valves open. If purging through the RBU and the power cannot be turned on, you will need to install service ports on the inlet and the outlet sides of the RBU on all sets of refrigeration lines. Connect your gauges at the condensing unit on the liquid line and another set on the service port you installed after the RBU to purge. The electronic expansion valves come open from the factory, and they will close immediately when power is applied to the units. Make sure that you have nitrogen flowing through the pipes before you start brazing. Purging through the single RBU. On a single RBU, the liquid line does not pass through the RBU. While there are cap tubes on the RBU, they are not sufficient to purge through the RBU. Because of that, service ports are recommended. Ball valves are also recommended to make leak checking easier because you will be able to isolate the lines and indoor units. Purging through a multi-RBU. On a multi-port RBU, the liquid line gets piped through the RBU, but there are no solenoid valves in line with the liquid line to obstruct the flow. A service valve is strongly recommended to be installed on the gas line to the indoor units on each port for purging, cleaning, and leak testing. A service valve can be installed on the liquid line after the RBU for convenience of isolating each indoor unit for leak testing. Brazing. Be sure to purge with nitrogen while brazing, at approximately 2.9 psi. If pipe is brazed without applying nitrogen, it will oxidize inside the pipe. Be sure the copper is cleaned before brazing. Do not use flux to braze pipes. Leak testing. VRF systems have a significant number of connections. After connecting all refrigerant pipes, connect a gauge hose and a regulated nitrogen tank to one connection of the outdoor unit's ports and purge the entire system with nitrogen through the indoor units and back out the other port. Pressurize the entire system with nitrogen to 600 psi and leak test every fitting carefully with soap bubbles. Perform a 24-hour standing pressure test with nitrogen to assure the system is leak-free. Outdoor unit insulation. Insulate the pipes as close as possible to the service valves. Fill the piping and wiring holes with putty or insulation to avoid small animals or critters from entering the condenser. Indoor unit insulation. The insulated gas line and the insulated liquid line can be connected together, but both the liquid and the suction pipes must be insulated independently. Having trouble pressure testing? If the power was turned on prior to pressure testing the system, the indoor unit's valves may close. You can open these valves by using the following instructions. Turn on the power supply to both the indoor and the outdoor units. Press the mode exit button on the outdoor unit. Change the display to F3 by pushing the select button. Press the enter button. Change the display to 21 by pushing the select button. Press and hold the enter button for 5 seconds. Turn off power to all units when POFF is displayed. Perform the refrigerant recovery using a recovery machine. The system cannot be operated in the POFF state. Please restore power to all units if you're trying to run the system. You can also use these instructions to perform refrigerant recovery. For complete details, refer to the installation manual. Evacuation or vacuum. You must never start a Fujitsu system until leak testing, repair, and evacuation are performed, and the refrigerant has been added to the system. After completing the nitrogen purge and leak test, slowly remove the nitrogen from the system. Connect a vacuum pump and micron gauge. Using industry standard best practices, evacuate the system to a minimum of 500 microns. Performing a triple evacuation, make sure it holds for 60 minutes. While evacuating, calculate the system charge requirements. Refer to the actual install manual for complete instructions. How to evacuate or vacuum the system. Connect the vacuum pump to a manifold gauge. Evacuate the system from all 3 pipes simultaneously. After evacuating the system for approximately 2 hours, break the vacuum with nitrogen and pressurize it to around 7 psi. You should repeat this action minimum of twice, performing a triple evacuation, first to 4,000 microns, then to 1,500 microns, and then to a minimum of 500 microns. Run the vacuum pump for a minimum of 2 hours after the 500 microns is reached. Vacuum can also be pulled simultaneously through the field-supplied ball valve service ports. Charging the system. To calculate the required additional charge for the system, you will need a complete list of the liquid line sizes and length. In the example we see here, we have 49 feet of 1/4-inch line, 66 feet of 3/8 line, no 1/2-inch line, 82 feet of 5/8-inch line, and 164 feet of 3/4-inch line. Again, the additional charge must be added to the system based on liquid line pipe diameters and length. So using the chart from the installation manual, you will see that the 1/4 inch is 0.014 pounds per foot, the 3/8 is 0.039 pounds per foot, 1/2 inch is 0.077 pounds per foot, 5/8 is 0.120 pounds per foot, and 3/4 inch is 0.180 pounds per foot. And you can see from this chart that there is an additional charge of 6.61 pounds for the 72 and the 96,000 BTU outdoor unit, and 14.99 pounds for the 120,000 BTU outdoor unit. So the calculation for the additional line length is 42.5 pounds plus the additional charge for the outdoor units. Remember to always charge a blended refrigerant in the liquid state. Charge the refrigerant into piping that is already in a vacuum. Check the R410A bottle and turn it upside down if it does not have a dip tube. If you must charge the liquid refrigerant while the compressor is running, put the refrigerant in slowly so to not inundate the compressor with liquid refrigerant. Thank you for joining us for the Fujitsu Airstage VR2 Heat Recovery System Installation and Piping Training. If you have questions or need more information on the product, please contact your local Johnstone Supply Company Cafferty Group office.